Good evening, everybody. This is Maria. This is You in Mind, live discussions with holistic light workers from across the globe to bring inspiration and healing to you all. Tonight, we've got the beautiful Helena Georgiou from Cyprus, who lives in Paphos. And Helena is an amazing lady. And the topic tonight is, it could be a bit controversial for a few people. I know it could be triggering for a few people, but I think it's a topic well worth discussing. Helena is a holistic therapist, and she specializes in the power of touch healing massage, which I'd like to find out a little bit more about. She's an energy therapist, herbalism, and she works with essential oils. And she also runs women's circles in Paphos, which is amazing. I'd like to get to myself sometime. So without further ado, I shall introduce Helena to you all now. Oh, what are you doing? Evening, Helena. Namaste. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, beautiful Maria. Thank you all for joining me here tonight. It's such a lovely pleasure to be here and be part of this live show tonight to share my story. Thank you for this amazing opportunity.
Well, thank you for honoring us with your story and with your presence. It's such a beautiful light amongst us out here in Cyprus. We need this light more than ever right now. So, Helena, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your backstory, if you will. How you got to doing what you're doing, what you do, obviously, and obviously then you can tell us a little bit about your story, because I saw the video that you put on Facebook and it really touched me. So, you know, I'm really kind of proud for you, and to know you know, that somebody's brave enough to speak up about these things, because I've got my own story, which I don't talk about very often. So, which I won't share on here, but so yeah, I'll hand it over to you now, Helena, and just tell us a little bit about your backstory, what you were doing before you became a holistic therapist, and how you got to where you are now.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Maria. Well, I was born in South Africa, in Durban, and about 23 years ago, my husband and I decided to immigrate to Cyprus. Both his parents are Cypriot and my father was Cypriot.
Okay.
And we wanted a better life for our children, a safer life for ourselves. We had a business in South Africa. We had been exposed to shooting, armed robberies, hijackings. And the last straw was when my husband was shot 3 times, stabbed twice when I was 5 months pregnant with my son. So that was like a time. And we got the message loud and clear. So we sold up everything, whatever cash. It wasn't about the money. We came here virtually, started from scratch with 2 suitcases. Yeah. And I'm very grateful now that both our children are well, happy, raised safely here on this island, and ourselves as well. We got through this experience. It was tough, but this is what brought us back to this beautiful island. And I never in my wildest dreams expected to ever leave South Africa. My heart was just set on there. So it's amazing how life moves us to where we need to be. So from that...
Sorry. I just welcome Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy. Yes, lovely to have you. So basically from that experience, it got my faith very deep. I'd always been spiritual, but it got me very deep after that huge life event of, you know, almost losing my child and my husband at the age of 25. Wow. And then shifting to a country where I didn't know anybody, or left all my family behind, not knowing the language, and then, you know, moving through that space. Yeah. And that encouraged me to get to deal with the feelings I was experiencing, things like suicide, depression, that kind of thing, how the medical way was just encouraging all tablets. And my body was just always into natural health. I was born that way, and I couldn't take it. So to get through the depression, I went on to the St. John's wort, the natural alternative. I got through that, and then I started getting deeper on my spiritual path, and that guided me in 2000. I think 2009, I did my first crystal healing course, which was just, it kind of called me. It wasn't something I planned. I went to one of my favorite crystal shops, and I saw the leaflet, and I thought, oh, that's something I want to do. So it started from there, all opened me up to a whole new world. From that, it led to Reiki, from there into sacred geometry, and then numerology, all kinds of things. A whole beautiful new world opened. And obviously through this inner work, things were coming up. And I was receiving messages and being told by certain beautiful spiritual souls, you know, for example, like I had experienced something with my father, but I'll get over it. And I never quite understood what that meant. You know, we never had a close relationship, and I just put that down to basically being that he was Cypriot. And that's why he wasn't affectionate. That's why he was loud and sweared a lot. Growing up as a child, it was very much like that. So I didn't really take much notice of that. I kept working and working through it. At one stage, I suffered with high blood pressure, and I had to take tablets, but then my body just refused it. And I got pain in my liver. I lost most of my hair, and that was it. That was proof that, you know, we don't need medications for me. So it kept me going on the natural health path, and I studied herbalism then. And I turned very deeply into my spiritual natural energy work. And from there, I got into sound healing and started working with a beautiful soul via yoga and sound healing combined. And at that time, I landed up getting a very stiff neck, and it kind of froze. And I knew, well, that was something emotional coming up, because I'm pretty flexible. I take good care of myself. I eat well. I take no medication. So there was a sign, and I wanted to know where that was coming from. So I took a deep inner journey. I first was blessed with a beautiful spiritual mentor. He came into my life at that time and really helped me. The first male that really showed me the beauty of men, the other side of men that I'd never seen besides my husband. I'm talking as an estranged man in my life, because I'd always struggled with my relationships with men, and I'd never quite understood why. I was always keeping my distance. I would never go speak to them. It was just, I thought it was normal. I went to an all-girls school, so I didn't have male teachers. We didn't intermingle. That's how it was for me. So I didn't find any of this strange. But obviously through my deep inner work that I was doing to clear this physical ailment that had occurred in my life, I took homeopathic remedies for it. And it came up through this that I had been physically abused and sexually abused by my father at a young age. And when I decided to face that, I got involved with my psychological clinical mentor, who's also a very spiritual woman here on this island. And she helped me do the deeper work and understand that we need to work with our inner child, that we need to be courageous, that when you're in that space and you're ready to clear this, it's not something that happens quickly. No. It's something to be patient with ourselves and work through whatever emotions come up.
Absolutely. I mean, people think that when they come to a holistic therapist that there's going to be a quick fix, but it's not a quick fix.
Exactly. No. Absolutely. And this is what I've seen with a lot of clients that have come in and out of my therapy sessions with me. They come once or twice, and then they just go, and that's okay, because we're all in different spaces. Yeah. And I understand and honor that. But for me, my journey, I was ready on a soul level to shift this.
Yeah.
And I felt I'm in my mid-40s now, and I want to clear this. I want to live my life to my fullest potential.
Yeah.
So I committed to 2 monthly sessions with her, an hour at a time, and we really did a lot of deep work, going down into the dark parts of the soul and working with the inner child and dealing with that and facing the scars, the wounds, the sadness, the mental, the physical abuse, how it affected me from that time up until now in my life with my relationships, especially with men.
Yeah.
The fact that I was always so insecure and lacking confidence, self-love, had no support. That was why my neck gave in, because I never had support. I'm the eldest in the family, and I was always taking care of my mom, who was taking care of my sickly brother, who was always taking care of my father. So I was kind of holding everyone together. Even when I finished school and I got my job, I was supporting them financially as well.
Yeah.
Until I met my husband at the age of 21, and then things changed. But to get to that point, my childhood, I was always a very quiet child, very okay to be on my own. I'd love to be outdoors with my animals and pets. I was very happy. I didn't have a problem with that. Thank you, Maria, for sharing. Bless you. It's good to be heard and seen, and thank you for that confirmation. I hear you, Helena. Bless you. So for me, I was a lonely child, you could say, but I didn't feel that way. I only stood it later in my life how I'd missed out on true relationships like a best friend, and the support of a loving father-daughter relationship that I would often notice in my older years, how, I would watch other daughters and fathers and always wondered, well, what's missing? Why is it so different for me?
Yeah.
And growing up as a teenager as well, I'd keep away from guys. And then eventually, the age of 18, I met my first love, and he landed up being almost like a copycat of my father, because we tend to attract the same, because that's the vibration and what we know, I think, is normal. And it was a 3-year relationship on and off, and he also became very physically violent. And that's when I eventually ended it at the age of 21, when I was almost strangled to death.
Wow.
And I had to get the police involved because my parents were away. They had a business.
We have so many similar things just in that one paragraph.
It's amazing how we don't realize how much we're carrying, that we have. It's scientifically researched and proved that our cells hold memories on a conscious level. And I've experienced that through doing breath work and seen my body shake and tremor and get hot and cold, releasing all of this. So I know it's a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
When we make the choice to go through this process and release and let go of this baggage and sadness and fears that we carry that we don't understand.
Can I just make a point there?
Yeah, please.
The key word that you said there was choice.
Yes.
Because if we don't choose to heal, then we won't ever heal.
Exactly.
You can go through the motions and say, I want to heal, I want to do this, I want to do that, and you can go see 50,000 therapists. But until you choose to heal, then nothing's going to change.
Thank you for those wide words. And that's exactly what I've come to understand.
Yeah.
Clients have come and gone, and it is a choice, because not everybody is ready for that. And it's okay. It's not about judging. It's just about accepting everybody as they are and where they are.
Absolutely. No, there's no judgment involved. It's just that you hit the word. It's when I do affirmations with clients, I always get them to say, I choose I am or I will or whatever I choose, because that is such a powerful word, because it's showing commitment.
Yes, exactly. It takes commitment. Like anything in life, you know, the top athletes, the top swimmers, they got to commit to a certain regime and program and discipline every day. Maria, when you say it's coming from the time you were hurt. Yes, exactly. Thank you for that. So basically, I'm just sharing part of my story, and my purpose here, my intention is purely just to inspire. It's not about impressing, it's about impressing upon you to know that we have this powerful resilience within us that we are so unaware of. That my power was taken away from me on an unconscious level as a child that I was unaware of until my mid-40s. So most of my life, I've been living half of myself without my power. So now I've made the choice, I've done the work, and I'm still doing it. It doesn't end.
No, it doesn't
the work. No, it continues. That's what evolution's about. That's what I feel we are here for.
Yeah.
So through this journey of exploring myself and taking that step of facing my fears and wanting to clear this away so I can have healthier relationships, I've only come now to discover self-love and how important that is.
Yeah,
I could never. So it's these little steps, these baby steps, these little attempts we make to make the changes. Yeah. But most importantly, like you mentioned, it's the choice and the commitment. And I add another C. I call it the 3 C's, the courage.
Yes.
The courage. Commitment, choice, and courage. We need to have that. And not everyone's like that, and that's okay. That's why we need each other. That's where the sisterhoods come into it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the support network is vital, is absolutely vital, because, you know, we're all very strong, empowered women, but we all, you know, we still have the need for support.
Yes, exactly. And I only got to speak the first time this year in May. That was my first online summit. I was invited to domestic violence online because of the call I had to speak the truth, to break the silence, to help women to come out. Because during the COVID, it was doubled. Domestic violence was doubled during the COVID. And I thought, well, this is all the work I've been doing. It's time to share.
Yes.
And it's not about going into the deep details. That's not necessary. It's about seeing the story of how I like to use the lotus flower for me is very special. How we need to go through that dark space of being in the mud, of facing the mud, getting dirty in that mud, embracing that mud, and then slowly planting the seeds so that we can slowly start to bloom and blossom into our true, unique, authentic self.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love the blossom analogy because the mud, you know, is quite dense. It's, you know, if you think about planting a seed in soil and planting a seed in mud, it brings you a different feeling, idea. I don't know what the word is. Oh yeah, my words are a bit mixed up. But any plant starts in the ground, in the darkness, you know. So against all odds, it's going to push through that heavy soil above it and through the wet and the damp and around the stones. And if you're in the mud like a lotus flower, you know, there's a possibility of drowning. So you know, so I just love it. I just love it. And that's it. We grow from excuse my French, through the shit. You know, we grow through that.
Exactly. And then there's so much good that comes out of these experiences if we take them as opportunities and
Yes.
blessings. And I know for most people that haven't done the work or might just be looking at it from their perspective, you might not quite understand it. But if we look at it from the point of forgiveness, which to me is the biggest lesson and beauty and blessing of my experience, is being able to have forgiven my father and still see him and speak to him, but from a whole different perspective and light.
Yes.
And that took a lot of work as well, to be able to face those feelings and embrace them, and know that when I was ready to let go of those, it's almost like they say in Buddha, forgiveness is like when you hold on to hot coals, you burn yourself. And this is what I had been doing. Because obviously your first initial thought is, why me? What did I do? I'm just an innocent child. But my mom was sick at that time, and then she was taking care of my sick younger brother who was 2 years older. So obviously this is how it all happened. And obviously as I grew up and got older, from 12, he couldn't continue because then I could speak. So he started belting me and bruising me in that way. Until I got to an age where I could say enough's enough. And my mom was too afraid. I understand and forgive her to stand up and for me. She's from a different generation where women just bowed and accepted whatever relationship they have. She wasn't a woman to ever divorce. That's her belief. Very much a Christian. And I had to accept that. And 2 years ago, I faced her on this topic. And the beauty, when we come out and speak from our heart, just like you said earlier, Maria, it's like this light just flows and ripples and helps people to open up their hearts. And that's what happened when I spoke to my mom. She came out and told me how she was gang raped at the age of 15, waiting at a bus stop. She was waiting at a bus stop to get a ride home, and 4 guys picked her up, kept her overnight, dropped her off the next day. When she got home, she got belted by her father because she wasn't home and she couldn't tell him. So from the age of 15 until the age of 75, for 60 years, my mom was carrying this story.
Wow.
And it was a release for me, a release for her. And this is the beauty of truth and love and light. When we come from that space, when that lotus flower begins to blossom from the true, authentic place of our hearts and our souls, and we speak our truth, then we can create beauty, so much beauty. And they'd say that when women heal, we're healing our daughters, our mothers. It actually goes back to 7 generations and behind us, and 7 in front of us. Yes.
And forward.
And this is the beauty. This is the beauty of healing, of love. And this is, for me, the understanding of the power of love.
Yes, it is for me too. I mean, forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is key, and acceptance. That not taking on any guilt from that situation, and forgiving your parents, to me, is a big, massive key, because, like you've just said, they're from a different generation. We're from a different generation, and our daughters are from a different generation. And so, like my mum and her mum were abused. I was abused.
Wow.
And hopefully my daughter's not well. She has been abused, but not sexually that I know of, but mentally abused. But hopefully that cycle will pass, because she's stronger than I was, and I was stronger than my mum was, and my mum was stronger than her mum was. So, and the work that we do now, obviously, is powerful work, because it releases them going forward, and it releases our angst or whatever it is that we have against parents for shutting up, you know. So sorry,
Very true. No, that's great. And this is what it's about. It's about sharing, that when we come to that place and we feel supported and heard and seen, then we find it easier to open up.
Yes,
and yes, Marina, thank you for sharing that. It's also about forgiving myself, ourselves. That is really important, because it's about not knowing what I know now. Then I didn't know. And the same with my father. He was doing the best he can with what he knew in his life, and my mother with what she knew in her life. And my brother is just not capable of standing up for himself. So it's no blame. It's not about blame. It's about turning those wounds into wisdom.
Yes.
Like Rumi, one of the beautiful spiritual wise men and gurus of today and the past, actually says it's through our wounds that the light comes in. And this I can honestly agree with personally for me, that when I could forgive myself and I came to forgive my parents, that's when I felt so much space open up inside me, and I felt like I've been given a second chance in life. And it's for me now. Thank you. What can I do with the next 40 years, hopefully?
Yeah.
You know, it's like this. I'm like a child with a new toy now. My children are off studying, so I've got this time for me now, and it's amazing. I'm so grateful for this.
Yeah. It's very freeing, the forgiveness.
Yes.
Very freeing.
Exactly.
Especially when you forgive yourself. I think the starting place really is forgiving yourself for the judgments as well. You know, that we judge with parents, we judge other people. So I think the freeing ourselves from that judgment is a big key.
Exactly, because this is what holds us back, these limitations, these beliefs, these fears. You know, for me, my mantra going through all of this was feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yes.
There were many times I would do something. Let's say we're working on the inner child and a process came up, and it was like, oh my gosh. And just when I thought I'd cried it all out, more came. It was like, oh my gosh. Yes, tears are very healing and cleansing for the soul. But I was wanting the joy. This is what I'm working with, is bringing that joy back into my life. The joy that most innocent children have, which I didn't have, I was robbed of. So for me, any opportunity I get now with children, I love to be with them and have fun and be silly and act like a child, to bring that laughter and fun back in my life.
Yeah, it's good. It's great being around kids. I mean, I don't see many children these days, but where did I go recently? I went somewhere recently. Oh, just to my neighbour here, right? I've been here 3 years and I've only met them twice. And I went over recently and took them some cake that I'd made. And I thought she'd only got one little girl, and she'd got two. She'd got a little boy as well who was younger. And I was like, oh my God, children, you know. I said to Debbie, you need a babysitter, let me know, because she can be silly around children. There's no judgment, you know, and it's good to let that inner child out. I mean, my friend Kathy, who's on here now, her daughter's 15 or 16 now, but, you know, I used to love having her over. We used to paint and make things, and, you know, it's just tapping into that inner child, you know. That's why I like animals so much, because they have the same energy field. So you can get really excited, and you know, oh look, it's a lighter. Oh, it's a lighter, and the dogs are like, "Yay, what is it?" You know.
Very true. And I have my cats and my dogs, so sometimes they'll run around the house like little children being so naughty, and you can't help but laugh. It brings so much joy. And I feel, especially with this year, with everything we've been going through as humans on the planet with this COVID and lockdown, most of us have lost that joy. We've become so serious in life, and, you know, having this time indoors, having been restricted in the lockdown, has created some good things, but also some not so good things in relationships. So it's bringing us back to this time where we need to go within. And I feel globally, this is what's happening with the divine feminine. And this is what's inspired me to start working even more with women and do my monthly women's circles, is that the divine feminine energy of the softness, the gentleness, the nurturing is needed now.
Yes.
And it's the only way forward. And Dalai Lama said that the world will be saved by the Western woman. And this is what it's about. I feel we all being called, especially here on this island of Aphrodite, the goddess of love. I feel it's about, learning to love ourselves again. And from that personal loving relationship of acceptance, acknowledgement, I had to learn to say no, because I was a carer and a giver and a people pleaser. I had to learn to put boundaries, healthy boundaries, which I've never known. And that's helped me now. It's helped me. I'm still working on this, of course, but I'm understanding the importance of self-care. As women, it is extremely important to listen when our body says whatever. We need to listen to the ache, the pain, not pop a pull down. No, go sit in the bar, go for a walk, or go for a swim, or read a book. Just something to give back to ourselves. This is what we've been called to do, to be more intuitive and listen to our inner guidance and follow it.
Yeah, it's true. As women, we are natural givers, I think. There's a lot of women out there who are not in touch with the feminine side, let's say, as much. And I don't know, I wrote a piece years ago about the age of Aquarius, and about the balancing of the energies, because people think the age of Aquarius is all about woman, but to me it's all about the balance being brought back in, because we've got women that are in power suits strutting around like men, and we've got stay-at-home men looking after babies, and the balance has just been totally overthrown, and then women have forgotten how to be woman. So and I think it's about bringing the balance. So the men out there need to get more in touch with the feminine, and the women need to get more in touch with the feminine to bring in that balance, because the women are more male oriented now. Like for me, for example, I brought my daughter up from 6-year-old on my own. My husband left, and we never saw him until she was, I don't know, about 14 or something. So I had to be mum and dad.
Of course.
And it's really difficult finding that balance just in yourself. So now is definitely a time for the loving energy, not just in females, but I think in the males too.
Exactly.
It has to be nurtured now.
Absolutely. It's no more of this toxic femininity, as you mentioned. Women being superior, this superiority. It's about that equal balance within ourselves as a being, embracing. For me, it's working on that masculine, which I haven't had in my life. So now I'm needing to work more on that and taking more responsibility to ground myself in that way and bring the balance in my life. Whereas, like you said, it's the men too. There's beautiful men who have started working. I've seen their evolution in the past 5 years just here in Paphos, Cyprus. Three beautiful men that came in my life to help me on my path and my healing journey, who showed me how women can be loved and respected for who they are, not just as a sex symbol. And that to me was a big shift, because I could never talk to men, I could never trust them. I've never had a massage from a man, a strange man besides my husband. So for me, my experience of the power of touch with the massage that led me to part of my healing as well was amazing, because my client is giving me permission to touch them, which is very sacred to me. When I do my work, it's not about quantity, it's quality. So for me, it's really, it goes very deep because of that touch issue that I've obviously had to deal with my healing process. And the fact that I've never been able to sit on my father's lap or get a hug or kiss in that way as a child, and teenager, having that support. The father-daughter relationship is just so important for women who have healthy relationships like that. But I feel, unfortunately, it's not like that, because also men have been scarred. Men have issues with their mothers, and how they've been raised. I saw that with my father. So it's perfect, as you say, the idea to show the men it's okay to cry, to get more in touch with their feminine side. I'm still trying to get my husband to wear pink, but I don't think I'll ever get that right.
I don't like men in pink. I have to admit, I don't like men in pink.
He still say we can't stand it, but it's fine. I've got pink sheets, so that's good enough. But it's amazing how it's about our inner relationship with ourselves, as you said, with the balancing of that yin and yang, that masculine and feminine energies, is reflected in our relationships in the outer world. So it's like that. Once we're aware and we work more on that in ourselves and embrace that and say, look, it's okay. Let's work on this together, and kind of come together. I feel this is where the world's going now. It's about that unity of coming together now and accepting, respecting each other's differences and working through that. No more, separation between whatever sexes, religions, whatever you want to call it. It's coming to place now. That's what I've come to understand in my journey, is that you can't say this or that is going to create that. No, it's anybody, anytime, anywhere. It can happen to anyone by anyone, and it's how we go back to that forgiveness and acceptance.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting because the other day I had a guy come to look at this laptop, and he was a young guy, and I can't remember what he was saying, and he said something about God. Right. Well, I'm not anti-God. I'm not anti any religion. I don't go to church. I follow the Native American way. Nature is my church. Okay. So, and he was going on about God and God and God and God, and I'm like, you're here to fix my laptop, not give me a sermon, And he's asking if I'd been to this church, whatever church it was, and I said, no, I'm sorry, I don't actually go to church. And there were like shock on his face. And he's like, well, you're Cypriot, right? And I'm like, well, I'm half Cypriot. Yeah. And he was like, well, he just couldn't get over it. Like, then the conversation went into, because I said to him, look, I study all religions. I've studied all religions. And I believe that all religions carry a portion of the truth.
Yes.
Of what's out there. I said, and I don't say the word God, I say creator. I says, but it's the same thing. It's the same energy, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he's like trying to make me feel bad because I don't believe in God, and I'm talking about Satan and stuff. And I said, well, I don't even believe in Satan. If you can only believe in Satan if you believe in God. So we had this whole conversation, and then I said to him, look, I said, my personal view is I look at the person and what kind of a person they are. I don't really care whether they believe in Satan or they believe in Buddha or they believe in God or Allah or whatever. I said, to me, it's the person. If they
Exactly.
believe in Jesus, in God, and they're a horrible person, then what good is that religion? It's the person, you know. So I don't believe in God, but I'm a good person. You know?
Exactly. And we need to be able to have these healthy conversations, these healthy differences, and come to some sort of compromise and still be able to, live together.
Yeah.
And,
It was interesting because when he was leaving at the gate, he said to me, "Is it okay if I give you a hug?" And I'm like, "What, you want to hug this anti-Christian thing?" Yeah, and of course, I'm a good person.
yeah.
I like you, Marie. You've got a nice energy.
Well, this is what it's about. It's the light with us shining through, and we all on our path. We're all doing the best we can, and we see in the world what's being reflected in the world is a reflection of the consciousness of the people. So for us who are the stronger ones, who are able to lead and guide, it's tougher for us, but it's okay because we understand the bigger picture.
Yes, absolutely. But it's really nice to see that little spark, in somebody that makes them go,
Yes.
Because
that's all just to plant that seed of love.
Yeah. Not in a negative way, just but it was really nice to see, because I see a lot of, I get a lot of judgment from people over here because my own auntie told me that she fears for my soul because Jesus died for me on the cross.
Don't worry, I've been through all that too, but I just laugh it off now. I've actually places now in my life where sometimes it's not, I don't even get into it anymore because it's just not worth it. Because I understand, like, for example, my mother, who's a staunch Christian, and it is Jesus and God and everything. And I understand that, we're not here to change anybody, that's how she is. And I know when she gets to the other side, I've said to her, contact me and we'll talk then. Then it'll be different.
It doesn't stop us planting little seeds, whether they water them and they grow them. That's up to them.
Exactly.
So this is why the gardeners of the soul. That's what I call it.
Of course, and that's why for me forgiveness is a big thing, because I even came from a country, South Africa, as everyone knows, the apartheid that we lived in growing up, and then we had the major change from the white to the black government with Nelson Mandela. And one of his wise words was the same thing about forgiveness. He said he couldn't leave. He knew if he left that jail not forgiving, nothing would change. And look at the man he became through the power of forgiveness. So the power of love is connected to the power of forgiveness. And once we're able to embrace those two qualities, we free ourselves and we open to so much more of the shining and sharing that light and receiving that light back tenfold into our lives. So if I can say that the way and the tools that I use to help me get through these difficult times and experiences and sad times and lonely times where I would sit and cry and pray and ask for help, I'd always be in nature. Nature's been my mother, my Pachamama, my Gaia. She is my everything. So I'm always in nature every day, morning and night, doing my walks. I need to be there. And I talk and I do my things and sing and whatever and pray and meditate. But through my challenging times, it was working with, if I can give some tips to people who are suffering with stress and anxiety and panic attacks that I used to suffer with badly. This technique called straw breathing, which is a very simple technique which you could use anytime, that you actually just take your tongue and make it into a straw if you can, like this.
Yeah, I can't do that.
If you can't, that's okay. You can take your hands and just cup it and breathe into it, or even a paper bag. And you take deep breaths in and deep breath out. And that just helps to calm your heart rate and your parasympathetic nervous system to calm you down. That was one technique that was really helpful that my mentor shared with me. The second one, which I found very helpful, was the alternate nostril breathing that really helps balance the left and right side of your brain. It's basically used in most yogi practices. That's basically something like breathing in clothing and breathing out your nostrils. You can Google that. And then the third technique that I discovered towards the end, which was very empowering, because I find most women like myself, our voices have been silenced and closed. We've been suppressed. And it goes back not only to this lifetime, but to previous many lifetimes before, because I've done soul regression and I've looked into my soul, my past life. So I know this is true for me. And this is why I'm also so passionate about my women circles, to bring women together, the power of the sisterhood and sharing. Because we need to be heard, we need to share our stories. And in our everyday life, it's not always possible with the people we were around. We're either too busy, or it's not the right person, or we don't trust them, or we're fearful of being judged. So when we're in a space where we can start to use our voice is connected to our womb. So for me, I've been doing womb healing, and I'm going to be doing a womb session 2 online in time to come. I'm putting a program, because that I found is extremely healing for us women. We hold so much in our womb that we are so unaware of. And once we connect to that voice of our womb, she flows through into our heart, from there into our voice, and up into our third eye, so we have more clarity and intuition with nature and spirits and the creator. So for me, I suffered most of my life with severe tonsillitis, and I never knew this until recently when I did a voice toning journey, and it came out that our voice goes through 3 channels, and if one of these or 2 of these, all 3 are blocked, we suffer with tonsillitis. And I think it only started stopping once I gave birth to my son at the age of 25. And then I started finding myself with my husband and my little family, and I could start being heard and seen. So I encourage women in my circle to do chanting and different toning and voice singing to help us to just hear ourselves, because we have an inner voice that we speak to ourselves, and then we have the outer voice, and also the voices we hear from others. So all these sounds that come in. And sound healing is very powerful, and they say it's the new medicine of this decade.
It's not the new, it's not new medicine, it's ancient medicine, but
yes, which they're kind of accepting now in this new age. Very true. And it's helped me so much. So, for drumming, even introducing that. But I've got a chakra toning meditation that's about 10 minutes. That if anybody's interested, I'm happy to share for free. They can contact me via yourself, Maria, or on my Facebook page, Natural Healing and Health. And I'd be happy to share it with them via the email. Send me the email. And they can just work through that. It's basically toning using vowels. And it shifts the energy centers and blockages. You don't have to know what it is, but it's just such a simple, easy practice. And I worked with this through my challenging times, and I still use it today. And it's amazing what you feel and what a release you get with sound, using your own voice and hearing yourself as well.
If I remember afterwards, I'd like a copy of that actually, because I work with toning as well. But while I'm drumming, I tone as well. And when I do healing work with clients, I tone. And sometimes we tone during opening circle when we have as groups. But if I remind me, because I'll probably forget, I'll send you a piece that I wrote years ago on the toning that I do in water. And I used to do it in a bath in the UK.
Wow. I love it.
And then when I came to Cyprus, I did it in the sea one year, and oh my God, it was just like so powerful, because you've also got the motion of the sea. So it was also moving the sound waves through your body.
Oh, amazing.
It is amazing.
Wow.
And I'm good. I've only been to the beach 3 times this year, and when I do that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't have a bath here, but it's amazing. You've got to try it. You've really got
I will. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. Thank you so much, because I have a deep connection with water. From a young age, I've always had to be by the sea because I need to go almost every day in the sea to cleanse my energy. So I've been always blessing and praying for the water. On the 21st of March for the water day, I go to the Aphrodites and I do a ceremony there.
Yeah.
So in my circles, I always have a bowl of water with pets and the music goes into it, and then we share it to the land. Yeah. So I have a connection. I would love to experience that. Thank you for sharing that.
Wonderful. I'll send you it. Would you like to do a little exercise before we close with the people that there's actually 4 people in, but there's only 2 in the chat. But
okay.
Did you prepare anything?
Well, basically, it was just the tips that I gave, so I could take them through some of either the straw breathing, or I could take them through the alternate nostril breathing if they want to do something like that with me. What do you suggest? Is there time? Have we got a few minutes left?
Well, we started 5 minutes late, so you've got 5 minutes.
Okay.
Or maybe a little meditation or something to do with recovering from abuse or something. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Whatever you think.
Well, for me, I usually just work with the heart connection, meditation. I like to work with that. Okay. I feel that everyone to their heart space. And I have, there's a lovely mantra, but we usually have to repeat that at least 12 times. So that would take a little bit longer than 5 minutes.
That's okay. It doesn't matter if we run over a little bit.
Yeah. And what I love about this mantra, it came to me about a month or 6 weeks ago. And once again, I know it's the voice. This is part of my cleansing and healing, but it's also helping women to use their voices and clear their blockages too. And it's working with the hand gestures, the mantras, which are extremely powerful because they connect us to the 5 elements, which is also the earth as well. So working with mantras, we have the water, the earth, the ether, the air, and the fire. And working with them connects and makes the connection to our heart space even that much stronger by balancing the centers. So it's the words basically I can just chant because it's not much time to teach you, or if you can join in. But it's basically we're using the mantra sase sasa sase sasa sase sasa sarang, which is basically connecting us to the infinite within us. And then the toning, I think it's better I send you the meditation and you do that. Or is anybody else available that would like to do the toning, then I could do that quickly. I'll take you through it quick because that takes about 7 minutes as well. Yeah. I see Kathy asking for the toning.
I love the toning as well. Yeah. Well, there's 2 people not actually commenting, so I don't know who's in the background. But,
okay. Well, it's okay. Let's do the toning if that's what Kathy wants. No problem. I'll just do a quick run through and then I'll send Kathy. She can send me her email and I'll send it to her so she can practice at home, the actual meditation. So the toning is working with the 7 energy centers, and that works with the vowels, the A, E, I, O, U. Yeah. So from the root chakra, you're working with the U. And then we go to the sacral, that's the U. We go to the solar plexus, that's the O. To the heart, that's the A. To the throat, that's the I. To the third eye, that's the A. And to the crown, that's the E. Yeah. So basically, usually I go through it every 3 times through each chakra. But I think just for this, we'll just quickly do it once just to get an idea of how it flows. Is that okay with you, Maria? Have we got time for that?
Don't worry about running over. I say an hour, but some of them have gone over before, and that's fine.
Okay, no problem.
I don't want it going into 2 hours, because
no, it's too much for me. I also need to have my supper and my break. Okay, so let's just sit nicely and comfortably and get our feet connected to the ground, feeling the chair or the floor beneath us, feeling connected with our roots, deeply connected to the earth, supported. And let's just take in collectively 3 nice, slow, deep breaths in through our nose, and then release it out through the mouth. Another 2 times. One more time. So we begin with the toning on the root chakra, and if you feel you'd like to place your hands there, please do throughout each energy center, because where attention goes, energy flows. So if you've got a mind that's running away with you, I would suggest you do connect your hands to your root chakra, which is your lower abdomen, just where your pubic bone is. And we're going to breathe in together, and then we'll tone the sound you out as long as you can. And we'll do it just once for this exercise. So let's begin. We breathe in together, and then we breathe out you. So the idea is to breathe all the air out from that chakra. So let's move up to the sacral, which is just below the stomach, the belly button. You can place your hands there if you like. And here we tone the vowel ooh. And if you like, you can also imagine or focus or visualize the orange color for the sacral chakra. So we breathe in together, and then we chant ooh. Let's move up to the solar plexus, which is the area below the breastbone and above the stomach, belly button. And here we chant the tone O. Let's breathe in together. And then O. We move our hands up to the heart center. And here, once again, you can imagine a beautiful green light. We breathe in together, and here we're going to chant Ah. We move the hands up to the throat. And here you can visualize a beautiful turquoise blue color, like the sea or the sky. And here we chant the tone I. Breathing in. Move up to the third eye, the center between your eyebrows. And here you can visualize a dark blue indigo color. And here we chant the vowel A. So let's breathe in together. A. And we move up to the crown. You can place your hands on the top of your head. And here we're going to chant the word E and the vowel E, shall I say. And you can visualize a beautiful, pure white light coming from Source, Spirit, God, Creator, Universe, as you wish. And we breathe in together. So sit just for a minute to allow these tones and sound vibrations to enter and flow through every cell, system, bone, muscle, molecule, fiber of your body. From your crown down to your root, your earth star chakra under your feet, and back up from the earth star chakra under your feet, up and out to your crown, allowing this flow, receiving. And then slowly to bring ourselves back into our bodies, we're going to go back to the heart space. I invite you to put your hands back on your heart. And we chant again the vowel Ah. Breathe in. And once again, we go back to the sacral chakra, just above your pubic bone. And I invite you to visualize the orange color. And we're going to ground ourselves back into our heart and womb now with the oo vowel sound. So let us breathe in. Ooh. Just sit for a few seconds as you feel the energy flowing down your legs, down to your feet, down into the earth and ground below you, feeling grounded, rooted, supported, and loved, and safe and protected. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose. Once again, come back into the here and now, back into your body. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Beautiful.
So you feel a lot lighter. You actually feeling the energies flowing through you. And this was just short. Usually you repeat each chakra for three times at least. So I'll send through my toning meditation and you can sit and enjoy that in your time.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Has anybody got any questions for Helena before we close?
Yeah.
We've got 5 people on and there's only 2 actually in the chat. So
Okay.
It's okay.
They can always message
another
time or yourself or myself. No problem. I just wanted to say that the beauty about toning is that it's not that you have to be a singer or anything. It's just about allowing the sound to flow. And it's I find it very healing and very simple and easy to do.
Me too. I love that. I love the toning.
Yes.
Because we're vibrational beings, and I think it's the vibrations that we
exactly.
I can't even put into words. It's like being in the water and becoming water. Yeah.
It's the universal sounds within us that our soul recognizes, like the which is the universal sound where everything comes from. And they would actually do sacred chanting in caves, the women, in ancient times. And I know I was part of that. And I'm being called back to that now, and women were beheaded and burnt because they were doing these chants, and how powerful it was. And even in the pyramids, there are these sacred areas where sound vibration was used to heal and create amazing frequencies and healing.
When I was in Chichen Itza in Mexico, they took us down to it was where they used to do the like ball games and things, and to the right they said, come on over here, and if you just clap your hands, the sound vibrated throughout the whole place. Wow. And they took us to this wall, and in there was like little God, you know, I'm just so tired, I'm sorry, like little holes in the wall where you could lay down in.
Okay.
We used them as sound healing chambers.
Wow. Oh my gosh, how beautiful.
Yeah.
We're definitely going back to that ancient times. Yes, it is normal, Kathy, that when you first practice this, that some areas are easier than others. That means usually where it feels that it's not so easy, there's a bit of stagnant energy, some blockages, which is totally normal. So the more you practice this toning, the more, if you can do it even morning and night, you will see over a period of 21 consecutive days how the energy will start flowing so much easier, because you will be releasing that blocked energy in those chakras. So yes, I'll be happy if you send me your email. I'll pass it on to you, and you can start practicing from tomorrow if you like.
Brilliant. Maria says, is it when we go back the tone can change?
When we go back, I don't quite understand the question.
I don't understand what you mean. I think she means because we went back to the heart and the...
Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry. Yes, that's true. Basically, we all have different energy levels and energy blockages. So it's normal that some of us will tone in a higher pitch, a lower pitch, a deeper pitch. Sometimes you'll hold it longer. You might be louder or softer, and that's perfect. We all working at it in our own way, in our own pace. There's no right or wrong. So whatever your body is calling at this moment in time, you might find you do a toning tonight and you do one in the morning and it'll be totally different. And that's okay. It's just to accept your body and allow to flow whatever wants to flow. And if you release some emotions at the time, you might get teary-eyed, you might laugh. It's okay, because this is the beauty of energy work.
I think also, Maria, just to add to that, if that's okay, Helen.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if the chakra was blocked the first time that you did the toning, and then you went back to it and it's released something, then that tone might change anyway. The vibration will change, and so if that makes sense.
Yes, definitely, exactly. So I hope this live has helped and inspired many women out there. That was my purest, heartfelt intention.
It's been wonderful,
remind all us beautiful women and men out there as well that it's time to step fully into our divine feminine energies and embrace them, and no longer be afraid and be silenced.
Speak up.
It's about getting out there and being seen, stepping up, shining up, showing up. And even if you're trembling, your voice trembles or your legs are shaking, I've been through that.
Yeah.
Just say what you want to say. Just be your true, authentic self. This is what we're going into now in this new decade. It's about coming from our heart space. And when we come from that space, only good things can happen. It's about sharing love from that space.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah, supporting each other, turning to each other, sharing, asking, reaching out to each other. So if any of you out there are in need of some questions, some support, contact me on my Facebook page, Natural Healing and Health, and I'd love to make a 20-minute call with you and see how we could work together. And like I said, I will be sharing my chakra toning meditation. If anyone's interested, contact myself or Maria. It's a great tool to use, and it's helped me so much, and I'd love to share that with you all. So from my heart to yours, thank you so much for this time.
Thank you.
Maria, for having me here to share and speak my truth and inspire and support, and know that from being a victim, we can turn that into victory to make the best life we could ever imagine.
Absolutely. So thank you everyone that's joined us live. Thank you RJ and Simone for coming in now, and I don't know if you watched the whole live feed, but if you did, thank you very much. And to anyone who watches the live feed afterwards, thank you, and I hope it helps you all, empowered women that you are. Please leave a comment on the video if you watch it afterwards, then we know that it's...
Yes, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Helena, and I would love to have you back another time.
Yes, of course, my honor. I would love to be back and share more. So from my heart space to yours, namaste. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night. Love to all.
Bye-bye.